threshold, then hey, let's enjoy ourselves, let's connect, so there's a difference.
Yeah, like I would say that, in terms of setting the threshold, I'm an advocate for the idea of not setting a threshold that's too high. Like I met a woman that was 37 years old and she was a virgin, and she was very proud of that.
There
And
were
I,
other problems.
right, well, my thought was like, gosh, menopause isn't too far down the road, and I don't know, 37, maybe she's got a few more years, obviously,
The
but it's.
problem wasn't the sex, boys. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the problem wasn't the sex.
You think she had like some sort of mental health
No,
issue?
no, there were other issues. I'm sure she was saying he must be 6'7", he must have $1 million, he must this and that, and unless he has all these things, then I won't marry him, and I won't have sex unless I marry him. So she's put up all these obstacles in front of her so that nobody ever gets through. So the threshold isn't, I want to wait until I'm married to have sex. It's, I want to wait for an impossible person to appear, then I'll marry him, then I'll have sex. So the impossible is always going to be in the way. And women, there are women who do that, especially the ones who love Jesus. Jesus is my man. And if I can want the kind of man Jesus will, whatever.
Either it has to be Jesus or a man who worships and loves Jesus.
Yeah.
In almost like a gay sort of way. Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm just being silly, but I do think I do think that I do have some objections with that whole, like, you must love Jesus as much as I do kind of thing. I know a lot of men who just can't get into another man in the same way. Like we just,
right.
We can't run up behind the pastor and give him all of our money. And it doesn't mean that that men who go to church and stuff are bad men or that there's something wrong with them. It's just that we have a different reaction to all of that than women do. And I think that I can't say I knew somebody who wrote a book or an article or something called Why the Black Church Keeps Women Single and Lonely, because they restrict and they say you should only have a man in this little confined area in the church. And you go to church, a lot of the men are gay, feminized, already taken, or whatever. And it doesn't mean that all of them are in that category. There are eligible bachelors at the church, but the supply demand issue kicks in. And you can't say that a man's a good man just because he goes to church. I know a lot of men that go to church. I know men that go to church specifically for the sex.
because there's women there.
Yeah.
And sometimes too.
Yeah, I had a friend that got around with a lot of women. He thought, I guess he felt like he was giving me like dating advice, which I never took dating advice from him because he was a little bit too wild for me. But he was like, oh yeah, you just go to church and just scream and holler and shout and praise the Lord and roll around the aisle. And he said, oh yeah, you'll be knee deep in somebody's vagina by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, okay, all right, sounds good. But yeah, so I think women should know that sort of thing so they can know how to get what they're looking for. So also so they're not surprised when you do find that guy who's the perfect church boy and he ends up being something different from what you expect. It's not to dismiss or belittle those who think that way. It's just to say, come on, you got to understand how these games are played. So anyway,
there are ways to know if somebody's serious, because obviously if he's going to church and hooping and hollering, he's trying to give the impression that he, saved and sanctified, so he's a good man, or whatever. But your threshold has to have markers, right? So for instance, if a woman is serious, a man is serious about a woman, there are certain things that he'll do. He will, if he has children, he won't have a problem having her around his children, his parents, his friends, his co-workers. There's little things that he can do to show. And honestly, most men won't take a whole gang of women around people that they care about. Like a revolving door of women, like this weekend, this one, that one, that one, that one. Most respectable men won't do that. So when you have thresholds, like, okay, if we're in a commitment, then there's markers for commitment, right? He wants you to meet his mom, or he wants you to meet this or that. It shows that he has good intentions with you. And if you're talking about the threshold of marriage, I mentioned in the video that I did, in African culture, one of the first things that you do when you are really interested in a woman in a long-term relationship with her is you will tell, your male relatives to go and talk to her male relatives and state your intention, right? So it's really that simple. If he says, no, come on, baby, let's do it. And you're like, no, I need you to commit. And he's like, no, I am committed. Okay, did your uncle talk to my uncle? Oh, wait,
Wow. So,
Yeah,
so
you
like,
see what I'm saying?
so public commitment, basically, like you're letting other people know. You're not just
Some
telling her.
accountability, yes, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've always said, that if a man is really trying to commit to you, he'll tell other people about you.
Yes,
If he's not telling nobody about you, then you might be his little secret or whatever,
right.
And I always mention the fact that, I like people see Alicia on my Instagram a lot. And I tell people, I say, well, you do know I was in a relationship for several years before that, and nobody knew about it. And it wasn't because I didn't think she was a great woman, but it was because I wasn't sure that that was how I wanted to move forward with my life, right?
Right.
When a man starts
You
to
weren't ready for a long-term commitment, at least not a lifelong commitment. So you kind of pause.
yeah, there you go. So that's real life advice. People can take it or leave it. And so thank you, Nomalanga. I'm gonna start calling you the anti-feminist. Because you give a fresh African perspective that I think a lot of African Americans can appreciate, in terms of maybe not necessarily agreeing with you on everything, but at least seeing how other people view relationships. Because I think that seeing it from another perspective will help alleviate any confusion that you have, right? Because you could go through life just bitter and pissed off, like all men ain't shit, all women ain't shit, or whatever. Or you could say, well, maybe there's something I'm missing that's causing my confusion, right? And I think that that's why I like your perspective, because it allows people to kind of say, oh, this is how other people do in other places. Maybe that's something I can incorporate into my own dating strategy. So thank you, Nomalanga. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. But a bit of irony, a lot of the things that I say are validated by an American woman, Ro Cutno. She's from Louisiana. So I think there are also other women who come from smaller cultures within the African American culture who embrace the perspective that I embrace as well.
I like Ro, but I like your perspective a little more than Ro's, because sometimes Ro is a little bit harsh. I don't dislike Ro, but I think Ro is like, I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna punch you in the face.
She's very, very fair. And mind you, I've met her in person, and she's sweeter than me.
Is she? That's so funny.
She is, yeah.
Yeah. In case you guys don't know, Ro, what's her last name?
Ro and Lori Cutno is her pen name.
Yeah. She has some interesting points of view on marriage, and I think that she, at the very least, is giving like kind of a straight no chaser perspective on why a lot of African American women aren't getting what they want,
Right.
And a lot of it's because we're buying into the confusion that is being presented, and it's not just women; it's families. Why families in the community? I mean, it's so often that people, a woman will get pregnant, and then the relationship will be over before the baby's born. And I'm like, so you guys were really getting along really well 9 months ago, and now you don't want to, you can't stand each other. Like, there's something wrong with that.
Well, no, they weren't getting along very well. There was no threshold for sex. They just had the sex without even knowing if they get along or not.
That too. Well, that'll be another good conversation. So I'm going to bring you back in. You guys have seen Nomalanga before. If you want to see her again, you can follow her at themochamoguls.com. She's a life coach. She has a whole range of theories and perspectives that I think you might find interesting. You can go to themochamoguls.com, and also she has a charity in Botswana called Pads for Our Girls, where she helps get sanitary napkins for young ladies in Botswana to help them to make sure they can go to school and stuff like that. I'm a donor to the charity. I hope you will be too. You can go to padsforourgirls.com. That's padsforourgirls.com and themochamoguls.com. She's also on all the social media platforms. So go find Nomalanga and follow her and support her. Reminder also, those of you who want to come to Los Angeles, I'll be in Los Angeles speaking Saturday and Sunday, actually. But Sunday, I'm holding an investment seminar, and you can feel free to join us. We'll be there all day. If you want to network with other Black wealth builders, other Black investment-minded people, feel free to go to drboycelosangeles.com. That's drboycelosangeles.com. So thank you very much, Nomalanga. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Boyce.
All right, and you guys have a good day, and I'll be back around. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.